In this video, I'm going to share 4 concepts that will make you a better investor or trader. And if you consider these concepts whenever you buy or sell stocks, I promise it will make you more profitable. Hi, I'm Kent from Think Trade Profit, and if you enjoyed learning about new ways to gain an edge in the markets, or you'd like to see more training like these, please hit the like button below. Let's get started. The first concept is support and resistance. If you're new to the markets, or even if you're an experienced investor, I'm going to show you a different way to enter trades that is a little bit the opposite of chasing breakouts or breakdowns. What I like to do is buy near support, sell near resistance. Let's take a look at a chart and look at some examples. This is Alibaba from today, March 6th. Right now I've got it on a 5-minute chart. I do day trade, so I keep things in a very short time frame. But just looking at the 5-minute or even the 15-minute chart, you can kind of see that there's an area of resistance around 84.50, at least for the second half of the day, right along these lines. Even down at the 5-minute, you still see that. Right along here, 184.50. And then down here, aside from this this extended move, there might be some support around 183.50, 183.60, something like that. So really basic assessment, not a lot of complex indicators or anything like that, but using the day to look for areas of possible support and resistance to take trades. The second concept I want to introduce is trend. What I try to do, at least on a day trader basis, but this is really applicable to any time frame you trade on, is trade with the trend. So I like these entries near support or sells near resistance, but with the trend of the day. So for me as a day trader, I really just look whether a stock is up or down for the day. If it's about flat, then I'm willing to take trades in either way, depending on how the overall market is. Alibaba was actually down for today. It finished down about 83 cents, but it was down a lot more. You can see throughout the day on this 5-minute chart. If you look at the 1-minute, it looks a little bit different, but it was down pretty much all day from the open. So ideally, we'd be looking for shorts in Alibaba. So if you had the second half of the day to look at, and you had these areas of support and resistance, you'd look for sells. So remember on the 5-minute chart, we talked about an area of 184.50 as possible resistance. There is an opportunity here after this downswing 1 p.m., a little bit before 2 p.m., there's an extended move up, and we'll get to why that happens later. But then pretty much, if you were willing to enter here, right below 184.55, you could have been short for the rest of the day, and you could have held it down to almost a point, 183.45, something like that. Or you could scalp it in and out. That's more my style, is take a short, take some money off the table, give it some time, let it pick up again, short it again, rinse, repeat. But when talking about trend, generally the best thing to do is, if the overall market is down, like today was, you can see the NASDAQ and the S&P, they were all down. You would generally be looking for shorts, and most of the tech stocks and the stocks on my radar here, almost all of them are down for the day, except for Microsoft and Facebook. So really, you should be looking for shorts and not so much buys on days like this. I'm not saying I don't look for buys, I do. I actually did play Microsoft and Facebook on the buy side because they were very strong. Even in times of decline, they held up, and then when the futures ticked up again, those stocks would pick up. So there was an opportunity to buy. But generally, if you're new, stick to the trend of the day, or stick to the trend on the time frame that makes sense for you. If you're a swing trader, you might look at the 15-minute time frame, or maybe even look at the past 5 days. If you were looking at Alibaba, the trend is kind of indeterminate. I really don't see much there. Here's the 10-day. So the 10-day, I'd say it's picking up a little bit, and it's hanging up there high. So maybe the trend is actually a buy on the longer term. But trend. Trade with the trend of the day, or trade with the trend of the stock and how the stock's trading that day. So if it's down, look for shorts. If it's staying above the market and it's up, look for buys. The third concept I'd like to introduce is train yourself to start thinking about where other traders may have their stop losses. This is a little bit more complex. It's related to kind of order flow trading and that kind of thing, but I'm going to show you an example. We'll go back to Alibaba again. Zoom in a little bit more about this period in the afternoon. So you had the whole day chart to look at here. There was the stock was down all day long, but you had this really strange, strong up move here. It peaked out, and then there was an opportunity to get short. What does this really represent? If we bounce back to the 5-minute time frame, we know that that 154 stage on the daily mark was a key spot right around here. At least for the second half of the day, or almost all of the day, that was one of the highs of the day, and it kind of peaked up around a little after 2, but then it traded down again. So if you had this much information going near the end of the day, the stock is down, the trend is down because the stock is down, the market is down. So the trend is really saying, hey, look for shorts in Alibaba. How does this move happen? How does it actually go up like that? So not getting too deep into order flow trading, but the things that move the market are large orders. It's not you and I out there trading our small accounts. It's dealers and market makers. And they're out there buying for hedge funds, or hedge funds are buying for themselves. And what happens is, in times of kind of low liquidity or not a lot going into the market, they're able to drive the price. Or maybe somebody just had a big order to buy Alibaba. So they push it up over this short time frame. Maybe it was 1 million shares, 500,000 shares, I don't know. But moral of the story, somebody got a really bad price to the day up here. But that's what drove this price. And then once it topped out, the trend resumed. So identify where other people have their stop losses. I think that's what the dealers or whoever pushed this price here is. The 184.55 is really the spot, but they managed to push this. If they had an order where they were buying mono stock for somebody else in a time of low liquidity, they managed to push this really high and run other people's stop losses out. If you look back at the 5-minute chart and you were thinking, hey, people are shorting this, it's down, where would they place their stop losses? They place their stop losses kind of above that 184.50 mark. So be on the lookout for those kind of moves. And you say, well, Ken, you told me to short or sell as it approaches resistance. That's true. But if you weren't in a trade and you were flipping through your stocks and you saw that extension up there, that would be a time where I think it's really a high percentage trade where you can short right at that peak and then hang on to it and let it see how it plays out. We can take a look at Microsoft as well. I think there were some opportunities for the same kind of thing. In the second half of the day, let's flip to the 1 minute. Microsoft was really strong all day long, believe it or not. So you'd really be looking for buys. And right before 12 noon, there's this dip way down here. So again, this might be approaching some resistance level. Let's see if we can see that on, say, the 5-minute chart. Does it correspond with anything? It kind of does. If you look at the previous day around 2 p.m., it's right at the same level. The end of this candle actually dipped below this level. Again, that's a run on stops. They're pushing it down to where people may have their stops if they're long. And they dip it down there. It triggers these stops where people sell their shares and the dealer scoops up as much as he can at the low price, and then the price continues to go higher. In this case, it didn't go much higher for the day, but still there was a move from about 11.50 to 11.95 or so. So identifying where the stop losses are. Again, if you were looking to short this and there were more time in the day and it were down, you could short somewhere up here at the 11.95 level. But as it approached the close, it sort of hung high there. Let's look at one more stock. This is Eli Lilly. This had some crazy moves today too. We'll look at the 1-minute chart. In the second half of the day, you have a lot to look at here. So again, the stock was down most of the day, but yet there was an opportunity to short and there was an opportunity to buy. But again, if you're trading with the trends, you would really be looking for shorts So would we see some areas of resistance where we could short sell? And we do, and it goes into 10 a.m. and even the day before. If we look back, let's go to the 15-minute chart. It's not very clear. The 5-minute chart. And going back before the start of today's trading day, you've got this resistance here, this support, which then becomes resistance as we go into the next day. This is on 3-5 in the afternoon. There's a line right here around 127-ish, and then it comes back here. And as the stock is down, it actually trades up to that 127.20, and that's now resistance. So there were multiple times to short this stock here. You could have shorted here, here, maybe here, taken a little small scalp out of it. But that's what the kind of thing we're looking for. So the last concept to talk about, and I mentioned it briefly, is liquidity. You want to be careful that you're not entering trades in times of poor liquidity, because there are a lot of aberrant moves where things can move against you kind of in an ugly way. And what I mean by areas of low liquidity, I mean there's not a lot going on. The first area of low liquidity might be the market open. Here's Facebook. Facebook was up most today, but look at the open. Look how crazy this is. You don't have any idea where price is going to be or where it's going to go. That's a time of low liquidity. The other time to look out for is before scheduled news events, like economic reports, or maybe Fed governors, FOMC board members speaking in public, or any other kind of scheduled news release. There's consumer price index and all those kind of things. In one of my other videos, I mentioned Forex Factory. Their economic calendar is great. I use it every day. It's got every event for the day and the week, so you can look ahead. And this is kind of related to currencies, but but really just look for the things that happen during the U.S. markets, somewhere from 9:30 to 4. But you can look ahead and see if there's big things coming tomorrow and the next day. And then you'll know how the market's going to be. If there's big reports coming out or big numbers, there's generally going to be some hesitation. There's not going to be a lot of players in the market, so look out for that. And then the last area of low liquidity would be at the close. People are wrapping up their orders. Price really doesn't do much, but just be wary. You want to do the bulk of your trading sometime after 9:45 and before 3:50, 3:45, something like that. And just avoid the 15 minutes before, the 15 minutes after news events. But support and resistance, trend, identify where the stops are, and consider liquidity. If you wrap all those up in your trade entry decisions, you're going to be a lot more profitable, and you're going to spend a lot more time with trades that are in the money. So I'll just leave a question of the day. The question of the day is, what are your favorite trade entries? Do you like my style, or how do you do it? Feel free to let me know in the comments below. But that's it for this video. Thanks for tuning in, and be sure to give likes, thumbs ups, and share this video. I'd really appreciate it. If you're new here, hit the subscribe button, and if you'd like to see another video from Think Trade Profit, just tap the screen, and I'm wishing you the best in profits, and I'll see you in the next video. Thanks so much.